one of our favorites, Colin Wilson, @_Colin1.
We could spray the line with him, too. Get his favorite bet
We
from the
could.
weekend.
Favorite bets of the weekend. Senior writer for the Action Network. Colin, good morning to you. Thanks for the time here in Portland, man. We love chatting gambling with you. Let's start in college baseball. Our teams, I'm a Duck. My co-host is a Beaver. We just played a series, and for some dumb reason, the rules say only some games count, but other games don't count. So they played 4 games. My team won 2. His team won 2. He's trying to claim he won a series here. What is Colin Wilson, the college baseball guru, thinking about our teams here in the Northwest when it comes to postseason play?
Listen, everybody knows I love Oregon State. As an Arkansas grad, that 2018 is still fresh in my mind. It's really interesting because Oregon State has had a hold of the West Coast for a long time, and now teams are starting to creep up. Cal is starting to creep up. Oregon's creeping up. Utah maybe can creep. Big weekend series here with the Ducks coming on. So Oregon State really needs to produce on the road this weekend. 2-1, taking in series is great from here on out, but they need sweeps because they need that automatic buy-in. They need to take it easy in the very last ever Pac-12 tournament, because they have some teams are starting to get serious out on the West Coast about taking down the top dog, which is the Beavers.
If you were to pick a team right now, looking a little bit ahead in college baseball, what program is Colin Wilson like the most from a future standpoint?
Yeah, right now it's Tennessee. They and I didn't say Arkansas or Texas A&M, who are at the top of the board. Tennessee right now is displaying a massive amount of power. They have a kid named Christian Moore that can, he hit 3 bombs in a game against Kentucky a couple weekends ago. Their pitching staff is really coming together. They are slowly getting up there against Texas A&M and Arkansas as one of the best out there. But Tennessee is firing on all cylinders right now, and that offense is it's one of those ones when you get to TD Ameritrade in Omaha, that is a very large, spacious ballpark, but it doesn't matter when you have the kind of power the Volunteers have.
Great stuff on college baseball. Let's go to college football. We were talking a bit earlier. The Washington Huskies are playing their spring game tonight. The Ducks had theirs this past weekend. Oregon State was the weekend before that. I'm going to kind of let you choose your own adventure here. Just the world is your oyster. When you look around, it could be over-unders. It could be conference title odds. Like when I start tickling your fancy a little bit with college football gambling for next year, what are some of the things that jump to the top of your mind?
Well, I have not verbally discussed any college football. I just put out, if you guys go to the Twitter or Action Network, you'll see I just put out a full list of returning production and transfer activity. So if you have experience on your rosters, it's usually a really good indicator, of who's coming in is going to be hot this season. There's a couple of teams that hop off the page to me. Iowa State hops off the page. They're returning a ton. I think, out west, Oregon State is one of those teams that they have almost nothing coming back after an unbelievable season. They have 30% of their offense and 20% of their defense coming back. So a complete regime change there. I think the one team I'm hot on at ACC is SMU. And Rhett Lashley, their head coach, has been working the portal 2 years in a row where they've been accumulating Power 5 talent. And they have enough. I believe they have one of the softest schedules in all of the ACC. Their win total opened, I believe, at 7. I hit that on the over. I hit over 7.5. And I could be talked into a 20-1 to win the ACC. The schedule is that soft. Yeah, the schedule is that soft, and they dodge a lot of the big boys out there. And I think they have an extreme fighting chance going off. And then the other thing is in the Big 12, I think, outside of Kansas State, I love Utah. The schedule is a little bit tougher for them than it is for Kansas State. But if you want a long shot future that I keep gravitating towards, it's going to be Central Florida. They went and grabbed KJ Jefferson from Arkansas. And you have to remember, he's going to run Gus Malzahn's offense down there, which is like Wildcat based. So you have a 280-pound quarterback at 6'4", and he's going to be handing off to Penny Boone, who was the greatest MAC running back in the last 2 years. He makes his decision to go down to UCF yesterday. And now what you're giving is Gus Malzahn these 2 very large skill positions to run the Wildcat against Big 12 defensive lines. I don't know who's stopping UCF on the offense. I'll just say that.
Interesting. Well, as a Colin Wilson follower, I did see this yesterday, and I got very excited, and I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to ask you about a specific team, but I'm also reminded from your last answer that college football is now turning into college basketball, where I'm going to turn on games and be like, oh, that's where that guy plays now, because I totally forgot about the Jefferson transfer until you mentioned it. One of the teams that stood out to me looking at this graphic was Miami, who is not only returning a ton, but adding some key pieces at quarterback and running back. Where is your trust level in Mario? Because they're near the top of this. You mentioned maybe SMU is a dark horse in the ACC. Miami has to. I mean, I'm sure the odds are better for SMU. Where's your trust level in Mario in year 3 in Miami?
0. I mean, look at the game management at the end. He did it at Oregon. He did it at Miami, where he can't take a knee. And I mean, I'm looking at their win total. I've got him at 8.2. First time I've ever talked about the win totals. I'm about to put all the win totals out this week on Action Network. So preview, Miami's going to be 8.2. And, they return 92% of their offense and 100% of their defense, and they have established the culture here. I think we're rolling into year 3 of Mario. He's got the players that he wants. He's beefed up in the trench. They absolutely can do some damage in the ACC, but there are just things that have happened in game with Mario not just at Miami, but at Oregon, where they forfeit, they've lost games because of bad decisions in the last minute. So as much as I want to back this team, and it looks good on paper what they have returning, there is a Mario factor that kind of pulls me off about how much I'm going to spend on this team when it comes to the over.
The Big Ten is going to be a first weird year them, but all the West Coast teams now going over there, Washington, Oregon, Washington the defending Pac-12 champions in the title game, obviously the LA schools. The Big Ten for us has largely been 3 teams, and everybody else has kind of been or not that great. What do you feel early, and maybe you change your mind in a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, where are you at on just value versus what you feel is going to happen in the Big Ten this year?
I always think Northwestern is underrated, completely underrated. Last year, I think I was the only person in the world that had an over 2.5 ticket, and the team made a bowl game. So I don't think the numbers are not going to be able to catch up. They're returning 24 super seniors or graduates, grad transfers. So those are all 5th, 6th-year players, and they're almost all on the offensive line and on the defensive line. Now, by no means do I think Northwestern can do anything special in that conference. I got them projected just below 6 wins. But I think that they're going to be completely underrated once again. So if you want to go to the top of the chain, Oregon's going to be just fine. They're returning 93% of their defense from an experience perspective. They're going to need that in that league. I'm not positive Ohio State is the team that I want to crown as saying this is a slam dunk win. They did not look good in their spring game. Of course, they don't really hit each other. They don't play, and they play in pads where they don't really hit each other. But you're right. I mean, Oregon and Washington are going to be fine. I think Washington's going to be fine with Jedd Fisch. He is what he did at Arizona with absolutely nothing when he got there is fantastic, and I think it speaks volumes about what he's going to be able to do at Washington. So, if there's a team at the top and I had to take my pick, it would probably be Oregon, just based on the fact I don't think that we still know how good Dan Lanning is as a coach. We know how great he is as a defensive coordinator because he was for Kirby. Offensively, he has overachieved both seasons that he's been there. Now he gets a new quarterback, but he's going to be fine because he's got a loaded depth chart at quarterback. So, Dylan Gabriel and the kid from UCLA. So I think Oregon is absolutely going to contend here, and they have a great shot of winning their first Big Ten title in their first year in the conference.
The other scary thing, we don't need to get to them, but the other scary thing from the graphic, and now granted I did this all last year, was, well, who's going to be Georgia, who's going to be Georgia, who's going to be Georgia? Then you look at what Georgia's returning based on this graphic, and you're like, oh, God, who the hell is going to be Georgia this year? Because
6'4" quarterback coming in, too.
Right, they're back for another year. We do a segment right after this, Colin, called Sprague in the Line, and we pick our 3 favorite games of the weekend. I don't know if you got 3, I don't know if you got 1, I don't know if you got 2, but you got any favorite bets for the weekend that you like in anything?
Oh, well, obviously in college baseball, we're going to roll with Arkansas in the series or Arkansas on the Friday night. We have the best pitcher. I say we as if I'm on the team. Sorry, I don't. Just because I donate doesn't mean I'm on the team.
I think it does, actually.
Arkansas does have the best pitcher in the nation with Hagen Smith. He pitches on Friday nights. He has yet to be beat at all this season. I believe he struck out more than half the batters he's faced. I don't have the updated numbers, but Arkansas is definitely a best bet for tonight.
Very quickly, ask you on that. I don't mean any shot here. I don't even know if you'll take it as a disrespectful question, but
oh God,
have you, as an Arkansas donator, alum, big fan, have you mentally moved on from caring at all about the football stuff and said that's not our thing? We're a basketball, baseball school now.
Well, it's actually a running joke over at Action Network. My podcast partner and I, he makes fun of my football team. And I said, yeah, but we're a basketball school. And then when basketball's terrible, I said, yeah, we're a baseball school. So I just kind of rotate. Like, I think our girls softball team is going to be a national seed for softball. So we may be a softball program. It's rough because the writing is on the wall. We ponied up a ton of money to get John Calipari to come in to be the head coach, but there's not that same kind of support for the football program. And I just kind of wonder where our focus has gone in the last 18 months or so. Like, are we not able to drum up enough money to hang with the big boys? That, are we telling all of our donors to focus on other sports? Because Arkansas's win total in the market for football is 4.5, and I can't even justify to say to anybody to take an over there. We are not being supported from NIL. We are not being supported by our donors. So we have a very nice, beautiful house and facilities, and no one's going to be coming to watch the team the way things are going.
It's all right. Basketball and softball school and baseball school. That's okay. We always pivot.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we know you're a big Bandon guy. They opened up a new course yesterday. How long until Colin Wilson comes out and plays shorties?
Well, Colin loves shorties, but what people don't know is par threes are horrible for me. I prefer to bang on the big long ones. But of course, I'm coming up to play shorties. If you guys don't know, you can go over to their Instagram reel, and they're reeling out their food, and that's another way to get me to fly up there real fast. But yeah, I'll be up there really quick. I like to go and bet with my buddies at the Punch Bowl. We like to go to Pacific Dunes, and anybody that can shoot under 90 gets some money. So I absolutely love everything about Bandit. But yeah, I cannot wait to play shorty.
You nailed Pacific exactly right. Everybody, it's the number one for many people, and I get it. But damn, if you break 90, that's a great day for you at Pacific.
Yeah, absolutely. I would prefer to play Old Mac. Right, yeah. I love Old Mac. I've got Old Mac towels, Old Mac covers on all my clubs.
Yeah.
But the Pacific Dunes is in my nightmares.
Yeah, it's a tough course, no doubt. Colin Wilson, we love talking gambling, whether it's college baseball, college football, doesn't matter. @_Colin1 on Twitter, senior writer for the Action Network. Keep an eye on some of those win totals coming out on the Action Network for college football over the weekend and the weeks to come as we get closer and closer. Only a few more Saturdays to go. Thanks as always, man. We appreciate the time, and let's do this again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Colin Wilson talking Bandon Dunes, Arkansas baseball, college football, and more.